I talked to Lane yesterday, and he told me he has no idea what lies in his future. He's not even really all that concerned about it. What concerns him right now are his players and how they perform on the field, especially at the running back position. Darren McFadden last week suffered what all running backs hate, and that's that turf toe injury. He has taken a pain injection in that right foot. He will wear a steel insole in that right shoe. And JB, as I know you have to do every Sunday, he too will play with pain.
Hey, Dan, you're talking about my colleagues, right? Hey, Dan, thank you so very much, buddy. Well, Arizona plays Washington.
New York sold out again as the 2-0 Bills meet the Oakland Raiders. Buffalo fans are always energized, and when the Raiders come to town, everybody is. You always can count on a sellout when Oakland's in the building. Raiders have beaten the Bills the last 4 times they played. This is Don CRIQUI with NFL Hall of Famer Dan FOUTS. There's a feeling in Western New York that something's happening here, and to Bills fans, it's perfectly clear they think this has the look of an NFL playoff team, something they've not had in 9 years. Coach Dick Duran has them believing, Dan.
Well, because of that great win they had last week in Jacksonville in that heat. A win today would give the Bills a 3-0 start, something that hasn't happened in a very long time. Quarterback Trent Edwards is a big part of the reason spirits are high here in Western New York. The Stanford grad was impressive last week against the Jaguars. He completed 20 of 25 passes with no interceptions. He got it done, especially to the tall receiver, James Hardy, for the winner. Defensively, right, Marshawn Lynch is the big key for Oakland to stop on defense today. He's the all-around back that the Bills were hoping for when they drafted him. And on defense, Marcus Stroud and Kavika Mitchell, the 2 offseason pickups, have really picked up the defense. They've held opponents to just...
Certainty clouds the future of the young head coach of the Oakland Raiders, Lane Kiffin. Will he stay or will he go? Through it all, though, Dan, he's holding up pretty well.
Well, he's really showed some maturity for a guy that's only 33 years old. He knows he can't be concerned with the rumors. He can only be concerned with how his team plays on the field. Last week, they played pretty well, bouncing back from that loss to Denver. Against Kansas City, it was a ground game that gained 300 yards, but it was costly for the Raiders. Justin Fargas pulled a muscle. Darren McFadden suffered a turf toe injury. McFadden, before the game today, took a pain-killing shot in his right foot. He jogged around the field, said he would play with pain, and they will also insert a steel plate in the bottom of his right shoe. So look for Michael Bush to get a lot of carries today, step in to prove he can be the man. The question on the defensive side of the ball is which Raider defense will show up today. The one that was embarrassed in that loss to Denver 41-14, or the dominating defense that allowed only 8 points to the Chiefs in Kansas City last week. We'll soon find out, Don.
And now let's review the Home Depot tools. Back in Western New York, Bills coach Dick Duran's message to his team: be tough, be physical, because that's what the Oakland Raiders are going to be. Today's game is brought to you in high definition by Sony. High definition, it's in our DNA. Good weather, overcast, and we'll be back with the Raiders and the Bills and the kickoff in a moment.
Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to Western New York. Temperature 65 degrees. Wind right now is 9 miles an hour, but it can pick up. Forecast partly cloudy. A lot of humidity in the air. The Bills have won the toss and they have deferred. They will take the ball to start the 3rd quarter of play. They'll kick it off. There's an excellent kicker from Washington State, Ryan Lindell. And back deep for the Raiders. Ready to go after it is Johnny Lee Higgins. He's averaging almost 29 yards a kickoff return. Here's Lindell into the football, and we're underway. From the 2. Got a gap. Johnny Lee crosses midfield, and the race is on, and they finally get him out of bounds at the 30-yard line of the Bills. Ryan Lindell, the guy who kicked off, Dan, finally got him out of bounds. That was a 68-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, take a look at it. The wedge is really well formed here. 4 men holding hands, creating the crease to the near side of the field, and there's the burst of speed that you need if you're a return man. Lane Kiffin told me yesterday he's been working hard with Higgins to make sure that he knows just to get what he can get, follow his blocking, and then use his natural ability, that burst, that speed, and the decision to kick off may come back to bite Dick Duran and the Bills.
Well, what he can get is 68 yards on the opening kickoff return, and now motion in the defensive line. We'll see if a false start drew him off. Carl Cheffers, our NFL referee.
Neutral zone infraction on the defense, number 59. 5-yard penalty.
Well, Kavika Mitchell moves
down.
too early, and 2 negative plays for Dick Duran and the Bills. But interesting, I'm sure he was thinking that with his tough defense, they'd pin the Raiders deep in their own end, force the young quarterback to be a little bit more uncomfortable. But this is where you want to start your ball game, 25-yard line for Oakland.
1st and 5 at the Bills' 25. Yards come tough against this Bills defense. They allowed only 66 yards rushing to Jacksonville last week. As we take a look at Jamarcus Russell, a nice quarterback rating, almost 85, but he's only completed 8 passes to wide receivers so far. There's his offensive line, a new starter at left tackle. Quayne Harris is out, and Mario Henderson will start. Bills are looking at that to get a pass rush going. McFadden, the ace runner, and Ashley Lee starts today at wide receiver. Former Denver Bronco. Good play fake by Jamarcus Russell. Fastball on target to the 10-yard line. Javon Walker comes back at the ball. A beautifully executed play. A 12-yard gain. Here's the defense of the Bills. They had trouble stopping the run last year, but that's changed now that big Marcus Stroud is into the defensive line. Linebackers, Posluszny, a rising star middle backer, the former leading tackler all-time at Penn State. And good defensive secondary. Bills really sound in all 3 phases of the game, but they weren't too sound then on kick coverage to open the game as the Raiders busted a 68-yarder. 1st and goal, Oakland. Russell gets time on target. He drills it to Javon Walker again. Posluszny's there to tackle him.
And Javon Walker, Don, that's his first 2 catches of the season. Did not catch a ball against Denver or against Kansas City, but he's working the middle. The pass protection here is just perfect. Look at the throwing lane and the strength of the arm to get it by the linebacker to his receiver at the 5-yard line.
This a great start for the Raiders. And they don't want to leave this red zone without 7. After that 68-yard opening kickoff return by Johnny Lee Higgins. Here's Jamarcus Russell looking at the end zone. Lobs the ball away. The #1 mantra. Value the ball. If it's not there, throw it away.
And in talking to Greg Knapp, offensive coordinator for the Raiders, he's been impressed with the football smarts of Jamarcus Russell. He's really, really coachable. And he does the smart thing. Throwing the ball away right here keeps everything on track for the Raiders. This is a big 3rd down, but it's better than forcing a ball and having it picked up, obviously.
Now Michael Bush is in as the running back. 3rd down and goal. Russell with a fade pattern is not going to be close. So the Bills, intended target was Ashley Lee. The Bills stand tall. That really was an unplayable ball. It was too much lob on it.
Well, what Russell saw is he saw 2 Buffalo Bills on Ashley Lee. Lee is their specialist down here as far as being able to go up in the air and grab a high pass, but that was great coverage by the Bills secondary.
And here is Sebastian Janikowski, who hit a Raider record 56-yarder last week at Kansas City. This will be a 23-yarder, a chip shot. The Raiders take the lead. So the 68-yard opening kickoff return by Johnny Lee Higgins ignites the Raiders. They come away with 3. They'll kick off next. This is Don CRIQUI with Dan Fouts. Back at Ralph Wilson Stadium, the Raiders, after returning the opening kickoff, 68 yards. Johnny Lee Higgins ran it. Failed to get a touchdown. They did get a 23-yard field goal from Janikowski, who's now ready to kick it off. And there is Leotis McKelvin, the Bills' top draft choice. They have so many good kick returners on Buffalo, they say he's too good to keep off the field. Here comes McKelvin from Troy State. And he gets it out with a change of direction move out to about the 26-yard line, where John Alston, a former Stanford player, gets him down. And here comes another former Stanford player, Trent Edwards. What a time he is having in his second year in the league, a third-round draft choice. His offensive line has a Pro Bowler, maybe an All-Pro at left tackle in Jason Peters. Very strong up front. He's hard to sack because he gets the ball away so quickly. I know, watching him on Friday, Dan, you were impressed with his throwing motion.
Yeah, he's a great athlete, and the thing that's so good about his throwing motion is so quick, compact. Gets it out quickly.
Takes short drops, gets the ball away quickly. Raiders want to disrupt him, want to reroute the receivers. Rob Ryan said, here is a handoff, and the hard-working Marshawn Lynch is gang tackled by the Raiders after a gain of 3 out to the 29-yard line. Let's look at the Raiders on defense now. Burgess, Kelly, Warren, and Richardson across the front. Dangerous linebackers, great pass coverers, and Morrison and Howard between them. They intercepted 10 passes last year. And Howard ran 2 of them back for touchdowns.
Well, he runs a 4.40. He might be the fastest linebacker in the league.
He's from UTEP. That's where Johnny Lee Higgins is from, who ran back the opening kickoff 68 yards for the Raiders. Trent Edwards. Off the hands of Marshawn Lynch. The ball skips into the secondary. Kind of a dangerous throw. The Raiders almost had a play on it.
He threw the ball just too hard for Marshawn Lynch. Lynch gets his head around, and zip, the ball goes right by him. And also, it was off target. When a running back is on his route, a hook route like that, you want to try to throw it right at his chest. Makes it easier for him. He doesn't have to worry about reaching and then getting hit by a linebacker.
And that incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 7. Trent Edwards with a quarterback rating of almost 108. Here comes trouble, and they sack Trent Edwards back at the 15-yard line. Gerard Warren with a big play, a 12-yard loss on that sack. Warren was the number 3 pick in the entire draft when he came out of Florida and went to Cleveland.
Now he's number 61. This is his 2nd sack of the season. He had a great game last week, according to Rob Ryan. Said it was probably one of his best games of his career, and he's off to a pretty good start this afternoon here in Buffalo.
And now the punter's on the field, a 2-time Pro Bowler, Brian Moorman, and the ever-dangerous Johnny Lee Higgins is back for the Raiders at their 30. Booms the ball. Johnny Lee back to the 20. Again, he breaks the coverage and gets out to the 40-yard line of Oakland before he's run out of bounds by Keith Ellison. A 62-yard punt, an 18-yard return, and the Raiders with Jamarcus Russell take their 3-0 lead back on the field. Back to sold-out Ralph Wilson Stadium. Raiders coming off an impressive win at Kansas City. Out 3-0 on a field goal by Janikowski, their first possession. Here's Russell, a timing throw. It's off the hands of his receiver at the midfield line. It was Ashley Lilly.
That's unfortunate. That was a perfect throw by Jamarcus Russell to the outside where only his receiver could make that catch. Lilly just had it zip right off his fingertips.
Talking to one of the Raider offensive coaches before the game, Dan, Paul Hackett, said, what impresses you about Jamarcus Russell? He said, phenomenal ability, and he wants to be great. He'll work it.
He has worked it. Once he reported to camp, he's been a perfect student.
Russell gets time. Great defense by the Bills. Dropping back was Posluszny, that middle backer. Got a hand on the ball. This guy's a real player. Had over 100 tackles, 3 straight years at Penn State, Paul Posluszny.
There he is, number 51, reading the coverage, dropping into his zone, and then looking at the eyes of the quarterback. Good job of coming off his initial responsibility and being an athlete and making a play on the ball.
You see, he's calling the defensive signals. This is really his rookie year. He's in his 2nd year, but he missed all of last year. He was actually hurt in the 3rd game with a broken arm. Here is a handoff. Hard running Michael Bush working ahead on a 3rd and 10 play. Gets to about the 45-yard line with a run stopper. A guy that you said, Dan, can mess up an offensive line. Marcus Stroud stops him.
Yeah, he's been a real big part of this defensive improvement for Buffalo. Interesting, though, for the Raiders, Darren McFadden's only carried the ball one time for a couple of yards, was out on the last couple of third down situations.
Now Shane Leckler ready to punt for the Raiders. The very dangerous Roscoe Parrish is back for the Bills. He's already broken one for a touchdown this year. High punt. Well done by the perennial Pro Bowler Leckler as he forces a fair catch. 43-yard punt, all net yardage. So the Bills start deep in their own end, trailing the Raiders 3-0. In the 90s, the Bills went to the playoffs virtually every year. They went to the Super Bowl 4 straight years, but it's been a long time since that last playoff team.
Yeah, it's 1999, the last time the Bills were there. You know, we've only played 2 games of a brutal 16-game season, but this town of Buffalo and the Western New York area fired up about Dick Drawn's ball club. I think that win when they scored 10 points in the last 4 minutes against Jacksonville last week stoked the fires.
Bills defeated 2 playoff teams this season, 2 playoff teams from last year already. Seattle and Jacksonville. Here is a handoff. Marshawn Lynch is thrown back by the Raider defense. Middle backer Kirk Morrison, former San Diego State Aztec, throws him back.
And a former native of Oakland, California. Never played against each other. Kirk a little bit older than Marshawn, but he went to Bishop O'Dowd, and Lynch, of course, Oakland Tech Bulldog. They're familiar with each other, though. Better be familiar with number 23.
How about we asked Marshawn Lynch's football hero in the NFL, Jeff Hostetler, a quarterback.
That's a good one. You know, strange pick, but a good one.
Here is a Marshawn Lynch. Like Walter Payton, he doesn't look for that out-of-bounds line. He's taking on tacklers, an 8-yard gain. Asamoah makes the play on the sideline for the Raiders.
I like that comparison, Don, because watch this at the end. This is the exclamation point you want to see out of your running back. He drills Asamoah on his way out of bounds and picks up the first down for the Bills.
Rob Ryan, he told me before the game, he said Asamoah is clearly the best cornerback in the NFL. Right now, handoff goes. Marshawn Lynch comes out of the gap on first down. When you asked him the other day, Dan, about what's his philosophy of running, he said you just keep fighting in there and hope you get out of this.
Yeah, he's trying to find his way out of this.
The scrum.
And he does. More time. Look at how he drags Ricky Brown for about 6 yards. Watch the leg drive, the power, the desire. He's got it all.
5'11", 215. Last year he missed 3 games with an ankle injury, but Lynch still rushed for over 1,100 yards. Lynch, second and short. Forward progress. He's going to have the first down. He's out to the 34-yard line. Real Wilson stopped him.
Now the thing you see when you see Marshawn Lynch is great rookie season. Stepping in as he did as a #1 pick. Plays with joy. And he's always striving for that extra yard. You think you've got him. You got an arm around his ankle, but that other leg will keep driving and pull him through and pick up first downs as he did on that play.
So the Bills down 3-0 now. Getting after it with the running game. Here is a downfield throw. A nice connection, but the Raiders defend it well. A gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards to tight end Robert Royal. Sam Williams makes the stop.
7th catch of the season for Royal, and good job of Edwards. That was an all-out blitz by the Raiders, and when you know it's coming, you can see them coming at you. You know you're going to get hit, but you got to keep your focus down the field. Edwards did a super job that time.
Edwards told us at practice on Friday the Raiders are an intimidating team, but that's good for us because we won't take them lightly. We know we have to play the same way. He's already been sacked once. A 12-yard loss. Gerard Warren got him. Swing pass. Fred Jackson. Ricky Brown comes up and makes the stop.
That's one thing they did so well last week against the Jags. Fred Jackson caught 7 passes last week, and he broke many tackles. but not that time. Ricky Brown tripped him up before he could get underway, but it's a good 1-2 punch for the Bills, having Fred Jackson and Marshawn Lynch, very similar. They can both be every down backs.
Jackson, he's a very, he does it all. He runs, catches, blocks. Now 3rd down. 3rd and 4. Trent Edwards. They give him time. He overshoots. Roscoe Parrish coming across the middle, so the Bills drive stalls and they'll have to punt again.
Really solid defense by the secondary that time of the Raiders. Across the middle comes Roscoe Parrish right here. And that's just a ball thrown too far. Edwards anticipating that Parrish would stop on his route, but against man-to-man, he's got to keep running as he did.
And here is Brian Moorman out again to punt for the Bills. Booms a high one. He's so slight of stature. What whip in his leg. Johnny Lee Higgins. Did it hit the line? It did. It's a touchback, comes out to the 20. That's where the Raiders will start. So the opening 68-yard kickoff return by Higgins set up the Raiders. They ended up with a 23-yard field goal, and they lead 3-0. Back to overcast Western New York. Raiders with a 3-0 lead, starting the shotgun on this possession. Man, they break it. There is Michael Bush. And Fouts, he was your fantasy league pick today. Got 16 there.
Yeah, that was a direct snap to Darren McFadden, who's playing tailback, and he handed it off to Bush. Check this out. There's McFadden right here. And it's a read option play. Don't be surprised if we don't see that again. With McFadden will take the ball and keep it and go around the end.
And don't be surprised if we see McFadden aligned as a wide receiver. He can catch it. McFadden running hard in the left side. Kyle Williams, a big run stopper, makes the tackle. Tuesday on CBS, see why Entertainment Weekly calls The Mentalist a fun, fast-paced treat. Simon Baker stars as The Mentalist, premiering Tuesday on CBS.
That was just the second carry of the afternoon for McFadden, but they did run right, where they ran 2-to-1 times last week against Kansas City. A lot of success running right for the Raiders last week.
This is 2nd and 8. McFadden getting low. He had really, for some guys, a career last week. 164 yards against Kansas City. It was interesting, and they were running on 3rd and long a lot of times. The running game was so strong.
Lane Kiffin said they gained over 150 yards on the ground on 3rd downs against the Chiefs. And McFadden stays in the game, but you know, he slipped trying to cut off his right foot on that play, or he might have had big yardage. Keep your eye on that.
He's the lone back behind Jamarcus Russell. Raiders need 5 to keep the drive going. McFadden.
And again, Don, he slipped on his right foot trying to cut inside. You don't know if it's the turf toe injury or if it's the field. This is a turf field, so the traction's pretty good, but trying to make too severe a cut goes down for a short loss there.
So that brings Shane Leckler out again, and Roscoe Parrish out to return the punt for the Bills. There's Roscoe from Miami of Florida. Luke Turan says of him, he's not only hard to tackle, he's hard to even touch. He's so quick. Bills get a big rush. Booming punt. Another great punt by Leckler. They usually are great ones. And so the Bills again in this field position game, after a 49-yard punt, will start deep in their own end. Don CRIQUI with Dan Fouts back at Ralph Wilson Stadium. It's not that cold here. Jamarcus Russell, of course, is from Louisiana, so he's got the parka on, 65 degrees. Gotta have Jamarcus come in here in December.
Great being here in September.
Hand off to Marshawn Lynch, and he's stonewalled again. Jay Richardson and Turdell Sands make the stop. Boy, I was at the opening game, the Raiders in Denver. The Raiders were ready to look awful the last 2 weeks, so they've really stepped it up.
Now, this defensive line is quicker than the Buffalo offensive line. There's no offensive line in the league that's bigger than the Bills. but the Raiders feel their advantage are these fellows right up front here with their speed and quickness, and right now that is bearing true.
Well, Trent Edwards is going to throw here on 2nd down and 10. He's got his guy, but he drops it. Would have been an 8-yard gain to Robert Royal, but the defender, Michael Huff, a very good defender, #1 pick in 06 out of Texas, knocked it away.
Now, against the Raiders, they play so much man-to-man. They're bringing more pressure. They brought a lot of pressure last week against the young quarterbacks of the Chiefs. Rob Ryan knows that Trent Edwards is inexperienced. He does a good job, but he's going to try and give him as many looks as possible and as much pressure, especially early in the game.
Yeah, he said we want to pressure him. We want to reroute his receivers, knock them off their routes. 3rd and 10, tough down for the Bills deep in their own end. Edwards down to the 10-yard line. Terrific defense by the Raiders. Angelo Hall broke through. Tommy Kelly did. They're keeping the heat on. They're overrunning that good offensive line.
Well, they get good field position, and really the Bills have not been able to do anything on the ground except for maybe 1 or 2 good Marshawn Lynch runs. But that's a double safety blitz here. They brought the corner. You talk about looks. Jabril Wilson and D'Angelo Hall on the blitz.
And in this field position game, the Bills now punting from their goal line. Orman hits a knuckleball downfield. Johnny Lee Higgins lets it hop, and he'll run it back. Man alive, he almost broke that one. Live ball. Was it out of bounds? We'll see. Official now pointing at the sideline, saying it hit the white line.
Well, I did not hear a whistle or anything. Oakland ball. From the end zone, we'll get a real good look at how close he came down the sidelines to stepping out. #1. Yeah, he's out before the ball comes loose. That's a good call. Higgins slow to get up after this tackle.
Great look at it.
First down, Oakland.
And again, the Raiders have fabulous field position.
Jamarcus Russell, so early in his career, he didn't start a game last year until the 17th game. He played in a couple of earlier ones. So he's really in his infancy as an NFL quarterback. They said on Friday he had his best practice yet since he's joined the Raiders.
He completed something like 27 to 29 passes in practice. That's pretty good.
Right now, let's see if he's going to throw. He played fakes. He's going to throw. Downfield ball. What a catch. Ashley Lilly going low and taking the ball at the Bills' 19-yard line. An absolutely excellent offensive play by the Raiders. A 22-yard gain.
Now, the key here is getting back quickly, planting that right foot and letting it rip. And watch how this ball comes in low and easy to catch for Ashley Lilly. Tight coverage by Terrence McGee, but when you throw a ball like that, that's like a pitcher hitting the outside corner on the black. Perfect strike by Jamarcus Russell.
Now Michael Bush in the game. 1st and 10 Raiders at the Bills' 20. Off target. 2nd and 10. Zach Miller was the target, and Jamarcus Russell saying that that's the guy he really looks to as a go-to receiver.
Yeah, he calls him Mr. Everything. But that time, Miller had real trouble shaking that man, Kavika Mitchell. Mitchell runs well, very knowledgeable of the passing game, and he's got a Super Bowl ring from his days with the New York Giants.
Yeah, he was a key defender for the Giants last season. They felt that one of the reasons they signed him in free agency, they felt he brought a lot of leadership to a defense. Running hard, Michael Bush straight ahead. Marcus Stroud stops him. Raiders go right at the Bills defense. The Bills in the first game allowed Seattle only 85 yards rushing. Last week, Jacksonville only got 66 yards rushing.
And when you talk about Jacksonville's rushing attack, you're talking about Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew.
Raiders already have 31 yards rushing here in the first quarter. 3rd and 8 coming up. 51 seconds to go in the quarter. Raiders with a 3-0 lead on a 23-yard field goal by Janikowski. 4-man rush. Long ball to the end zone. Defense is really good as Javon Walker was going for it. Jabari Greer was covering. And so they'll send out Sebastian Janikowski again.
Walker caught the first 2 passes from Russell this afternoon. This is a good throw, great coverage, good effort, just a little bit too far, but that coverage by Jabari Greer, you don't play it any better than he did.
Russell doing the right thing. He put too much. Greer might have picked it off. 36-yard field goal attempt. Janikowski, Polish-born, played at Florida State. With the #1 draft choice in 2000. He unloads and knocks it right through again. So on a pair of field goals, the Raiders now have extended to a 6-0 lead late in the first quarter. Raiders kick off when we come back. Field to return the kickoff. Bobby April, their special teams coach, said he's just too good to keep off the field, even with guys like Terrence McGee, who's had 7 career returns for touchdowns. Janikowski can kick off deep. Wind starting to come up now. You see the flags starting to go in different directions. It starts to swirl. Here is the kickoff. Short kickoff. And returned nicely by Fred Jackson, who was the up back to block for McKelvin. So the Bills get their best starting position here, Dan, at about the 39-yard line.
What a super play by number 22. He had to run a long way for that pooch kickoff by Janikowski. And when he got there, he knew that the coverage would be coming. But watch him catch this ball above his head with his hands on the dead run at about the 20-yard line. That's a phenomenal play. And then to keep his balance, knowing that bad things are about to happen with the silver and black coming down.
And so far, the Bills' passing game not productive. Edwards 2 of 5 for just 6 yards. He's been sacked once for a 12-yard loss. Here come blitzers. He improvises, and very nicely. First down and a whole lot more. He gets the ball to Darian Barnes, his fullback. So Trent Edwards pulls a rabbit out of a hat and gets a 26-yard gain out of it.
Boy, he had to pull a rabbit out of his hat because the hat was collapsing around him. Great job of mobility in the pocket, and then being aware enough to know that Barnes is to the outside. Barnes' first catch of the year, and it's a beauty.
By Sebastian Janikowski provided all the scoring as the Raiders lead 6-0, and the wind coming up now in Western New York. Sweeping down from Canada. No effect play, and here is Trent Edwards taking a drop, gets some time, takes a look, fires over the middle, gets a drop ball by Marshawn Lynch. How about the Dolphins and the Patriots? Let's find out more from JB.
Don and Dan, Solomon Wilcott said that Ronnie Brown would get the start from Miami. He capitalizes with this 2-yard run there. That capped a 74-yard drive. Wow, look at this. Miami on top of New England. Miami trying to snap an 11-game road losing streak. Back to Don CRIQUI. Dan Fouts.
Thank you, JB. That's a good way to get started. Bills, of course, have 2 games coming up against the Patriots in their division. Here is Lynch trying to go wide, ridden down. Good linebacker play again. Eric Burgess runs him down. How about Tampa and Chicago? Back to James Brown.
Well, Tampa's Brian Greasy atoning for a pick he threw earlier. Caps an 8-play, 81-yard drive with that 4-yard strike to Ike Hilliard. That puts them on top, 7-6 over Chicago. We're in the second quarter play. Back to Don and Dan.
All right, JB, we're in Western New York. We have a 3rd down coming up now. 3rd and 11 with the ball as position. Trent Edwards from the shotgun. Rushers coming hard. Edwards has got to unload. He gets out of the tackle box, so it's not grounding, but these Raiders have kept the pressure on. It's been constant.
And, you know, in that time, Edwards ran out of the pocket. Pressure from here. He goes this way instead of stepping up in the pocket. If he steps up in the pocket, he might have had more time to throw, but trying to outrun the defensive end is not going to work.
Kalimba Edwards putting the heat on. That's amazing how these Raiders have come back from that very poor performance at home against Denver. Right now, they're playing some great football. Ryan Moorman ready to punt again. Directional punt to the far sideline. So the Raiders take over again with their 6-0 lead. You see, Dan, that the Raiders with their unusually good starting position on their drives.
And they're dominating this game, but just 2 field goals. They should have 2 touchdowns. So the Buffalo Bill defense is stiffened when the Raiders have gotten into the red zone.
Now the Raiders starting at their 13. Both arms on the ball. Darren McFadden, a 2-time runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. Busts straight ahead and gets to about the 18-yard line.
And this is 3 times that he has slipped trying to cut off his right foot. There he goes down, or that might have been a huge gain as well. He's so dynamic and he's got such great speed that once he breaks into the secondary, it'll be very tough to catch from behind. But he is playing on a bad wheel.
4 carries for 12 yards for McFadden. He comes in averaging 7 yards a carry. McFadden, that'll up his average out to the 30 and a first down. Oh, Simpson, one of the safeties, gets him down. Big block by the fullback Justin Griffith.
And running behind Mario Henderson is just making his 2nd start, number 75. Real good kick-out block on Aaron Schobel, but there's some of that explosiveness and running left, breaking a Raider tendency that they established last week against the Chiefs. 12 yards on that run.
And the ball is out to the Raiders 30. This time the gap is shut down quickly. The run stopper from LSU, Kyle Williams. Number 95 was in there to pop him.
Both Williams and Stroud really form a real tough 2 defensive tackle because they allow Postlosny to run behind them freely. But they also make tackles. That's 10 tackles on the season for Kyle Williams, and Marcus Stroud has 15 tackles on the season.
Last season, the Bills allowed 4.4 yards a rush to the opposition. That is a losing number. They've tightened that up. Jamarcus Russell dumps it off, and here's a penalty marker thrown in the air by the umpire. Usually indicates an offensive penalty. We'll see.
Eligible player downfield, number 64, offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That screen pass a little late developing, but this is what has to concern the Raiders. Darren McFadden, of course, he had the pain-killing injection in his right foot before the game because of the turf toe, and a steel plate put in the bottom of his shoe. It's apparent that he's got very little ability to cut off that right foot, but his left foot's not bad.
He's got 2 good ones. A very humble young man for all his talent and ability.
It was really enjoyable sitting and talking with him yesterday, along with linebackers Kirk Morrison and Thomas Howard. They're very upbeat about their chances this afternoon.
Well, right now they lead 6-0. 3rd and 10. Russell in trouble. Lot wall. Bills have it. 23-yard line of the Raiders. Paul Postlosny gets the ball. Number 90, Chris Kelsey, stripped it.
Yeah, looking for a receiver taking too much time in the pocket and then not securing the ball with 2 hands. Watch the pressure from the outside here. That's Kelsey. Number 90 gets by that block and just as relentless after the quarterback. But right here, Russell's got to feel that, and he will with experience. Great play by Kelsey with the right hand, chopping that ball loose. And heads up by Paul Postlosny.
He's made a couple of terrific plays, Postlosny, and remember that pass he broke up, would gone for a big gain. He left and tipped it away. 2nd round draft choice a year ago. 1st and 10 Bills. Swing pass. The fullback. Darian Barnes comes inside the 15-yard line and down close to the 13. Very close to a first down. Looks like it's just short. Be 2nd and short.
And this is a part of the offense that Turk Schonert, the new offensive coordinator, wanted to establish here in Buffalo, bringing the fullback back into the game. He gives us a power run game, Turk told me, but he also is important in the play action pass, as he was that time. got the most yardage receiving for Trent Edwards here in the first half.
Less than a yard on second down needed. Lynch, the yards come grudgingly against a tough Raider defense. Kirk Morrison, that middle backer, who told his defensive coordinator, Rob Ryan, we need to be more aggressive.
Well, they're having trouble getting the Raiders off their feet. And as an offensive line, that's important so that the running back can get a lane or two. But right now, the Raiders are just showing their team speed and quickness sideline to sideline. Morrison, the leading tackler for the Raiders the last 4 years. Got another one there.
Key play now, 3rd down and 1 for the Bills, trailing 6-0 second quarter. Lynch, the lone runner. Here's the pitch to him. Lead blockers. Lynch gets the first down and more as he gets down close to the goal line. Did he get it over the pylon? The Bills are, yes, it is a touchdown. He got the ball extended over the pylon. That is a touchdown, cracking the plane of the goal. 14-yard touchdown run, and the Bills can take the lead with the extra point.
I think he might have stepped out of bounds. I just think that right along this line, right, maybe right there. Boy, that's going to be reviewed for sure. Number one, is this out of bounds there?
Well,
nope, it's not. But here, that's a touchdown and a remarkable effort by Marshawn Lynch. Fabulous play.
So the Bills capitalize on the first turnover of the game. And now their place kicker, Ryan Lindell, is out to give them the lead with the extra point. He's never missed an extra point in an NFL game. And he makes that one. So the Bills defense sets it up. Marshawn Lynch takes it in, 14 yards out.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC's new original recipe strips. Life tastes better with KFC. TD Ameritrade, the independent spirit. And by Cadillac, introducing the 2009 Cadillac Escalade Hybrid.
The Bills have just taken lead as the former Oakland Tech Bulldog, Hale Bear.
He was a Bulldog, too. In fact, he has the word or the name Oakland tattooed across his chest. You don't think this game is important to Marshawn Lynch? I think that effort to get in the end zone, spinning in the air, knowing where the pylon was, gives you an indication how important it is for number 23 today.
So you got many family or friends coming today? So they're all coming in.
Nobody's back home in Oakland watching it. They're all here.
There's Johnny Lee Higgins, who set the tone early with that opening kickoff return of 68 yards. Lindell booms it. Higgins from the goal line. Tremendous special teams hit. George Wilson, number 37, is the guy who comes up and makes the play. Coming up on the Sprint halftime report, join.
It's important now to see how Jamarcus Russell rebounds from his fumble last time out for the Raiders, and now trailing by 1 point.
Russell is 5 of 11 throwing the ball for 39 yards. Here comes the heat. Russell, boy, he throws fastballs. Too much on it for Ashley Lee.
That was a fastball thrown behind Lee, but the effort by Lee leaves me a little bit befuddled. One hand. This is the National Football League. You're not going to catch this fastball with one hand.
Well, your man John Jefferson with the Chargers used to have that one-hand grab.
Yeah, but I didn't have the fastball.
Right. He had the completion, though. Here's Lee. From Hawaii, the former Denver Bronco top pick. Russell again on the rollout. Here comes Schobel, long ball. And the Bills have it defended beautifully as they go deep to Ashley Lee. Terrence McGee was covering. Is an upset brewing at Gillette Stadium in New England. Here's James Brown.
Don and Dan, it is indeed. And Ronnie Brown, the headliner so far, with his second rushing touchdown of the day. This one, 15 yards. That caps a six-play, 79-yard drive. 14-3 Miami over New England. Halfway through the second, back to Don and Dan.
Who'd have thunk it? Never, ever count the Patriots out of a game. 3rd down and 10. Wow. Michael Bush on 3rd and 10 rips a 17-yard gainer.
And again, they're running left right through this gap here, expecting the pass play. Look how wide the ends are playing for Buffalo. As Lesney overruns, or rather Kavika Mitchell overruns the cutback by Michael Bush. Huge conversion on 3rd down. Another big run for the Raiders on a 3rd down.
Yep. They did last week. Mario Henderson starting for Wayne Harris, the left tackle, got a big block on Posluszny. 1st down run to the 43. The Bengals playing at the Giants. James Brown has the story.
Don and Dan answering the Giants score. Cincinnati comes back. Chris Perry with the longest run of the year so far for Cincinnati. 25 yards to pay dirt. 8 plays, 74 yards. 10-7 Cincy over the Giants at the Meadowlands. Back to Don and Dan.
Wow, that's we saw the Bengals last week. They didn't look great.
They did not look even halfway great. They looked terrible.
Did not look stalwart.
Good start for them today.
Russell on 2nd and 8. Nice touch pass. Gets it to Michael Bush. Posluszny covering the back out of the backfield. Gets him.
And that's what Greg Knapp is impressed with DeMarcus Russell, is the fact that he can learn from his mistakes. The ball he threw to Lely earlier in this drive, too hard. That time, as you said, Don, he took something off, made it an easy catch for Bush, and brings up a makeable 3rd down and 3.
Last week, their 3rd down offense was the run. Aaron McFadden is the deep back. Justin Griffith offset as the lead blocker. They go to the throw.
Big play by Chris Kelsey. 3-step drop by DeMarcus Russell, and Kelsey just reading his eyes, almost picked this one off. Near side of the screen, watch, he's just dropping back into coverage and gets up in the air. Kelsey is 6'4". It's made 2 huge plays here in the 2nd quarter for Buffalo.
Momentum has certainly swung in this game. The turnover, teeing up the possession, but soon after, Buffalo turned into a touchdown on the 14-yard Marshawn Lynch run. Here's Shane Leckler to punt the ball. Averaging over 48 yards a punt for the season. Roscoe Parrish. And it just gets in. 57-yard punt, 37 net on the touchback. And the Bills go back on offense with a 1-point lead. With Dan Fouts, this is Don CRIQUI back at Ralph Wilson Stadium. Shane Leckler booming the ball today. No return yards, and see what Higgins has done in his returns for the Raiders. But the Bills will lead the game, capitalizing on a turnover. Handoff, Fred Jackson. He works his way out to the 30-yard line and is going to be about the line he needs for a 10-yard gain and a 1st down. Jay Richardson finally gets him down 98 for the Raiders.
So when you play against a defense that has great speed and quickness, you want to use misdirection. This is a counter play and a heads-up call by Turk Schonert. Big play on 1st down to pick up the 1st down for the Bills, but misdirection really caught the Raiders off guard.
They've really limited Edwards, just 4 of 9 completions for 40 yards for the Bills.
And none to any wide receiver.
That's right, he has not hit a wide receiver. Here's a penalty marker on the snap. Fred Jackson gets close to the 35-yard line, and now we have a little extracurricular.
Yeah, Josh Reed and Jabril Wilson getting tangled up there, but this is clearly with offsides against the Raiders.
Offside, number 98, defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Rob Ryan looking at his defensive call sheet. Richardson comes out. It's 1st and 5 for Trent Edwards. Edwards going in the 3rd round. A lot of great ones, though, have gone in the 3rd round.
There have been, huh?
Kenny Anderson of the Bengals, Joe Montana, and Dan Fouts. Is Anderson in the Hall of Fame now?
He should be, and I know that he will someday. Great quarterback for the Bengals.
Here is a handoff, and wow, what a stick put on Fred Jackson by Tommy Kelly. Tommy got wealthy in the offseason, signed the biggest defensive lineman's contract, I think, in the history of the league.
Well, if he keeps making plays like this, he'll be worth it.
He hits him.
Gerard Warren as well. We talked about the 1-2 punch of the Bills with Williams and Stroud. Well, the Raiders with Kelly and Warren showing they can get it done in the middle as well.
Kirk Schonert, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, talks about short drops and quick passes. And he's really got to do that against this Raider defense. 2nd down and a long 5. Keep it in front of him, huh?
Well, the Raiders playing zone that time. That was the best pass of the afternoon, though, for Trent Edwards. He has really perfect mechanics, holds the ball high in the pocket, scans the field, and watch how quick this ball comes out and how the ball is thrown to the middle of the receiver's chest between the numbers, because there's defenders on both sides of the tight end royal.
Talk to people why he got drafted in the 3rd round. He'd be a high 1st rounder if he came out now. They said, well, one of the things the Stanford Cardinal had a very bad year his senior year.
Bad offensive line, too.
He only started 7 games. He was hurt. Here is Marshawn Lynch taking it to the 41 on a 1st down carry. Kirk Morrison and Jabril Wilson on the stop. And one thing I would predict, this Buffalo Bills team is going to win 11 games. I'd like to go on record for that right now. Long ball. Just a bit too much on it. Josh Reed running a fly pattern. D'Angelo Hall, 2-time Pro Bowlers, with him stride for stride, 23.
Fred Jackson's number 22. This is pass protection here. Whoop, oh, up over the top goes Kirk Morrison. That gave Edwards that split second he needed to throw that pass. Great job by Fred Jackson.
Edwards got roughed up a little last week. He was sacked 3 times by Jacksonville, did lose a fumble. Another long ball. Raiders spent a lot of money on cornerbacks, and you can see why. Lee Evans was running the pattern.
And we got a flag down on the far sidelines where Evans was running that pattern against Angelo Hall.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 23, defense, 5-yard penalty.
First down.
That's the key on 3rd down and 8. Here's the penalty against D'Angelo Hall. Evans can still fly. He slips right there. That's illegal contact. After the first move, after the receiver goes more than 5 yards down the field, there can be no contact.
At Lee Evans' point, he wanted to be sure the back judge saw it.
You don't want to run into the official after he catches you for an illegal play like that.
Only guy that gets run into is the umpire. The guy stands in there behind the linebackers. What a tough job that is. You've seen a few of those guys help out.
Yeah, they're always in the way, too. You're running crossing routes, and sometimes it works to your favor, sometimes not. But they do get bounced around a lot, that's for sure.
1st and 10. Live ball. Is it a fumble? Kalimba Edwards coming hard off the edge. And the officials say it was a live ball, and the Raiders have it. So the turnover count is now even. Both quarterbacks have fumbled.
Now, Rob Ryan said Kalimba Edwards is our good pass rusher from the weak side. And again, it's that patented tomahawk chop to the ball. And just in time, because Edwards' delivery is very quick. Almost got the ball up in time. But Edwards with the turnover for the Raiders. First turnover for the Bills this afternoon.
And that also goes as a sack, and that's the third time that Edwards has been sacked. These Raiders coming at him hard. He knew it was going to happen when we talked to him Friday. He said they're tough, intimidating. There's going to be a lot of pressure on.
This is McFadden at the tailback spot.
McFadden, a hands off. And the gain by Michael Bush is good for about 6 yards. Poslusny was on the stop from the middle backer spot.
Hey, I talked to him yesterday. I said, are we going to see any of this stuff that you used to run at Arkansas when he was runner up to the Heisman 2 years in a row? He can throw, too.
I tell you, he might go out at wide receiver. He can catch, too. Arkansas, they ran him at wide receiver at times, just to get the ball in his hands. Russell again rolling right. Nice throw. Again, he slips on the hands of his fullback, and Griffith dives inside the 20. Dante Whitner upends him, but it is a 19-yard gain for the Raiders and a first down.
Yeah, the two top receivers today have been the two fullbacks. Justin Griffith gets his first catch here, and you can see wide open as the play-action fake just froze the linebacker Keith Ellison there. And that ball's taken all the way down to the 15-yard line by the big fullback, Justin Griffith.
And now where they have it marked, it's a 21-yard gain down to the 15. So the Raiders challenging now to take the lead. They led 6-0. They trail 7-6. Running hard off the left side. Mario Henderson, Robert Gallery. Chris Kelsey's on the stop. And Edwards waiting to get back on the field. Very impressive young guy. So all these teams interviewed him. How come they drafted and he didn't get picked by them? He said, where am I going? He spent a few minutes with the Buffalo Bills at the Combine. All of a sudden he's a Bill. And happy to be here, he said.
Yes, he is. Much improved over his rookie year.
You know, you pointed out, Dan, his problem and how vital the right foot is for a guy that runs right most of the time. And that's about the 4th time he slipped.
And he's right-handed, so you know that's his dominant side. But check out his footwork here. Steel plate in the bottom of that shoe that time. You know, maybe he's favoring that right foot because that time he tried to cut off his left foot, the inside foot. Cooper Carlisle down. That's a bad sign for the Raiders.
The right guard.
And celebrate.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. And by FedEx, your ultimate NFL air and ground player.
2:37 to play in the first half. Bills leading by 1. Raiders challenging. 3rd down and 6 for Oakland. McFadden. Tremendous play by Ashton Yabuti. Number 26. Coming in as the nickel. He upends the ball carrier, and that's going to bring out the field goal unit.
Great quickness by number 26, getting inside the block of Chaz Schillens. Schillens, a rookie out of San Diego State, a little slow getting off the ball, and that cost his team a big play on 3rd down.
So we're down now to the 2-minute warning, and the Raiders will have their field goal kicker out to try a 3rd one today. With Dan Fouts, this is Don CRIQUI back at Western New York's Ralph Wilson Stadium. Here's a field goal try by Janikowski, a 32-yarder. It will give the Raiders back the lead if he hits it. He does. 3 for 3 for the day. He's done all the scoring for Oakland, and the Raiders are back in front 9-7 in a terrific game. We'll be back with Sebastian Janikowski's kickoff in a moment.
No, he's had better weeks. Still here, his team is on top playing inspired football.
Of course, Lane Kiffin came to the Raiders from Southern California, coached under Pete Carroll, the offensive coordinator there. I think Southern California should be playing in the NFL. They've got what a team.
They certainly put enough guys in the NFL.
And, of course, one of the very valued, renowned defensive coordinators, Monty Kiffin in Tampa Bay. Janikowski, now we have some precipitation in the air. The temperature seems to be dropping somewhat. California Dan Fouts picked that up, and you're right. Here is a return by Leotis McKelvin. Too good to keep off the field. Goodbye. Janikowski pushes him and gets him out of bounds. A great play by Sebastian Janikowski. #1 pick Leotis McKelvin, who the Bills said he's just too good not to have on the field, returning despite 2 other great kick returners. Busts a big one.
Really showed great patience here, sets up the moves, makes a guy miss right in the middle of the wedge. And how about Janikowski? One hand on the tackle after a 56-yard return. Uh-oh, I got to make a tackle right about. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. I just got him.
Moving very nicely. Not many guys catch up to Leotis McKelvin. There's Bobby April, the head special teams coach. But now the Bills on that big return get the ball at the Raider 44-yard line. Raiders leading by 2. Wind a factor now. Precipitation in the air. Trent Edwards throws up the middle, makes a connection. That is Josh Reed. Coming out of the slot, it looked like, is Jabril Wilson, another former New York Giant, signed as a free agent, makes the stop. 7-yard gain.
And after the fumble by Edwards, caused by Kalimba Edwards, Bills decide to go with maximum protection. They kept the tight end, Robert Royal, in, and threw their first pass for a completion to a wide receiver here in the first half.
Marshawn Lynch trying to turn the corner. Raiders are all over it. Asamoah makes the stop along with Kalimba Edwards. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Possible upset brewing in New England, where the Dolphins were, the last report, up 14-3 on the Patriots. 3rd down and for the Bills. 36-yard line of the Raiders. Bills need 2. Time a factor now. 1:08 left to play in the half. Timing throw. Out pattern. Lee Evans, who's only caught 8 this year, is averaging 22 yards a catch. Tremendous speed, but the ball was thrown low.
I wonder if that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. That's Bobby April, special teams coach, getting his field goal team out for a very long field goal try. Ball was not tipped, but he really couldn't step into it because Marshawn Lynch was cutting right in front of him. That would have been a first down. Evans had his man beat.
Ryan Lindell on the field. Talking to Ryan at practice Friday. He said his longest here is a 54-yarder. Now they fake it.
And the Bills called timeout.
Maybe they thought the Raiders would jump or something, and they saw that happen.
Well, Bobby April was halfway out onto the field, did not like what he saw out of his team. Frustration for Bobby April on the sidelines.
Well, Lindell said as long in this stadium, 54 yards. That would be about what a field goal here would be. But it is a swirling wind. He was originally cut by the Dallas Cowboys, Lindell.
You know, the Raiders kept their defense on the field. They thought something might be up, and they were right. You can see they have their defensive personnel, and they were ready for this. Why April called timeout, not quite sure, but here comes the regular offense coming back out for the Bills. This is what happened against Seattle. The snap to Mormon, and it's the lonesome end play to Ryan Denny, who takes it in for the touchdown. Seattle was not sleepless.
And the Bills are going to go for it, it would appear, on 4th down and 2. 77,000 rise at Ralph Wilson Stadium. Here's the snap, pitch up the middle, and Marshawn Lynch comes out of the pack, and he gets the first down to the 31-yard line. Living dangerously, shuffle pass. Lynch, he talked about coming out of the pile and getting out of this. He did it again.
And you hear so many times that when an announcer say a running back did it on his own. What? This is doing it on your own. Here's the catch, completed pass, stone wall, bounce outside. Great cut right there. great cut on both feet to get vertical and pick up a huge first down for the Bills on 4th down.
Yeah, it's passing yardage. It was a forward pass. And so now the Bills have advanced the ball to the 31-yard line of the Raiders. Raiders leading at 9-7. You see 47 seconds left to play in the first half.
And that's a lot of time in the National Football League. They have the one timeout that they'll save in case they need to kick a field goal, but there's a lot they can do in that 47 seconds, especially when you're on the Raider 31-yard line.
Dan, do you pre-call plays? You ever put 2 in a row up?
Absolutely. Or nowadays teams are so good at calling plays at the line of scrimmage that is preferred over calling 2 plays in the previous huddle. Gives the quarterback a chance to read the defense and call the right play.
Edwards spreads the field. Lynch, the lone back. Timing throw on target. Ball's on the field. Raiders have it and it's live, and the official rules it is a second Bills fumble.
Nnamdi Asomugha popped the ball loose from Lee Evans as Evans was trying to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Heads up play by Asomugha.
Jabril Wilson is the guy who comes on and grabs the fumble. Boy, he got his hand right on it.
Right on it, and he was also going to make the tackle if the ball doesn't come out. This is why Rob Ryan says this is the best corner in the National Football League.
A huge play for the Raiders defense as the Bills were in position to take the lead before halftime, take it back. Asomugha also played at Cal Berkeley.
A lot of Cal Berkeley and Stanford Cardinals in this ball game, huh?
There are. Like the big game. And off. Nothing happening there. McFadden runs right into Posluszny. Well, the game clock now ticking down to 30 seconds to play in the first half and running. And the Raiders on 3 Sebastian Janikowski field goals in position to go to halftime with a 9-7 lead.
How impressive is it for number 51, Paul Posluszny, making that tackle with his left arm, the arm he broke in 2 places last year. He's got 2 plates and 16 pins in his left arm. Still making tackles like that.
And you asked him, are they taking him out? He said, no, we're going to leave him in. Well, that is the end of the first half. The Raiders defense rising up, leading the turnover count 2-1. And the Raiders leading the game 9-7 on the Janikowski field goals. We'll be back with a Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Both teams struggling on offense. The turnover's the key, but the Raiders not able to take advantage of the short field. All 4 scoring plays were short field plays where the teams had great field position, did not take advantage, especially Oakland.
All right, and a reminder, this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Raiders kick off. You'll remember the Bills won the toss and deferred to the second half. Here is Leotis McKelvin, the rookie. Raiders with good special teams work are all over it. And so Trent Edwards and the Bills offense down by 2 points have the long field to go again. Most of the first half, they started deep in their own end, and then they got the turnover, the fumble by Jamarcus Russell. And soon after, they had a 14-yard touchdown run, the only touchdown of the day, scored by Marshawn Lynch. They led briefly 7-6.
Raider cornerbacks have been outstanding, allowing just 2 pass receptions to Buffalo wide receivers. And of course, the play by that man at the end of the first half was crucial.
Right now, see what Trent Edwards does. He was limited in the first half by this rush. 8 of 15 for 59 yards, sacked 3 times. Going right up top, looking downfield. Good strike, first down. Lee Evans is on the run. Crosses midfield and goes out of bounds at the 44-yard line. So the way this Raider defense has been playing run defense, I guess they figured, Dan, they've got to start putting it up. 34-yard gain.
And it's a crossing route getting inside of Asomugha. And a perfect strike by Edwards. I love the play call. Last time the Bills had the ball, Lee Evans fumbled. So what do? You come right back to your playmaker, get his confidence back, and move the chains.
He's been a key part of this team for 5 years, Lee Evans. Now they go to Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch with that ability to dip in and bounce out. Gets plus yards down close to the Raider 40-yard line.
He really has great balance, his ability to bounce plays outside, inside, and how about that touchdown run when he was flipped in the air and still knew where the pylon was to get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular. The only touchdown of the day. I think we're going to see more turnovers in the second half. That ball's going to be wet a lot of the time. We have intermittent light rain. Fred Jackson now in the backfield.
He's the quarterback's down here. Trent Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards is out as a wide receiver, and Jackson's going to run it from scrimmage, and very well as he gets the ball inside the 35. These Raiders hit hard. That was Ricky Brown putting a shoulder on him.
He's close to the first down too, Don. I mean, we're seeing creative play calling. This time Turk Schonert leaves Jackson as the tailback. Direct snap. Little misdirection counter type of play. And it's enough to pick up a Buffalo first down.
And like, can you top this? The Raiders were doing in the first half, and now the Bills go to an unusual formation. Turk Schonert, who was coached by Bill Walsh. Got a kind of a Stanford quarterback connection here. Bill Walsh to Schonert, and now Trent Edwards starting for the Bills. He's putting it up again. Here comes the rush. Does a good job getting it to the feet of an intended receiver, Derek Schumann. Coming hard up the middle was Tommy Kelly.
Yeah, this is heads up by Edwards around the backside and right up the middle. That's a tough combination there. You got Derek Burgess and Tommy Kelly creating some havoc for the young quarterback.
Bills with Melvin Fowler at center. Eric Dockery and Brad Butler at the guards. Jason Peters and Langston Walker, the tackles. A very expensive, good type of front line on front of Trent Edwards. Raiders have been busting through it, though. Fred Jackson from Little Coe College. He went the hard way to the NFL. Played just about every league there was to get here.
Watch Jackson. Again, they're just going to start running straight at this Raider defense. Instead of trying to go wide, get a big man on a big man right up front there and show their power. Jackson went off the field holding his shoulder.
He's over there with Bud Carpenter, the lead trainer for the Bills. Now Trent Edwards on a third down coming up. 3rd and 3 from the shotgun. A handoff. Marshawn Lynch. Real good defensive play by middle backer Kirk Morrison of the Raiders. Morrison and Howard between them last year had 215 tackles and 10 interceptions.
Very smart players. I played against Thomas Howard's daddy when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. I asked young Thomas who was better. He said, "Are you kidding me? I am."
Well, he's been good. So is his father. Here's Ryan Lindell now to try a kick into a swirling wind. This will be a 46-yard field goal. He has a big leg. Got plenty into it. And he is wide and no good. And so the Raiders hold, and they take over the ball, still holding to their 9-7 lead. Snap, hold, all good, but the kick is offline. Lane Kiffin, youngest head coach in the NFL. Raiders have missed the playoffs the last 5 years. Al Davis spending upwards of $220 million on the offseason on new players. Right now, the hard hit is put on by Posluszny on Michael Bush. 2nd down and 10 play. First down and 10 play. It'll be a 2nd down and about 8 where they position the ball. These are limited passing yards today. Bush producing well. DeMarcus Russell's not gotten balls downfield much to his wide receivers this whole season. Had only one to a wide receiver last week, but they ran so well they didn't need downfield throws. Michael Bush, who was out all of the 07 season recovering from a broken leg suffered at Louisville. He's He's also a very good receiver, Michael Bush.
Great compliment for McFadden. He's 6'1", 245, the real straight-ahead thumper type of runner that still has the speed. He ran away from Kansas City last week on that 32-yard touchdown run in his first season out of Louisville, and getting most of the carries this afternoon.
Yeah, McFadden seemed to be bothered by that foot. Now we have Michael Bush again. The Bills are all over Michael Bush. Coming up was Posluszny and Aaron Schobel. So on 4th down, now they send out the punt unit.
Yeah, Schobel made the tackle, but Posluszny blew up the play. He's going to get in the backfield of the Raiders, take on the block of the fullback Griffith. And that'll bring out the punt team. Great play by the middle linebacker.
We asked him the difference between major college and the NFL. He says you have to decipher things quickly up here. Roscoe Parrish is back for the Bills. Here's Leckler to punt the ball for the Raiders.
Wow.
Gets into that jet stream and run it back from the goal line. And he's out to the 16-yard. Ball's coming out again before long. 57-yard punt, 17-yard return. John Kondo is on the stop.
Holding number 96 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Buffalo. Timeout.
At halftime today, a signal on it for any Buffalo Bills to go on the Bills Wall of Fame. And up there today goes Bruce Smith, the greatest defensive lineman in Bills history, maybe in anybody's history. The all-time sack leader, 200, a terrific acceptance speech. And look who joins us now in the booth, none other than Bruce Smith. Congratulations, you gave a great talk accepting.
Thanks, Thank you very much.
And you want to go up for the Hall of Fame because you're a first ballot guy like Dan Fouts was.
This is my year. The process has begun.
You'll be there in Canton, and maybe Dan will present you.
I doubt that. I mean, there's a lot of great players that he played with. I'm sure that will be happy to bring him. Who will present you? Have you thought about that?
It will be between Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, who was my defensive line coach here, or Marv Leader.
Yeah, the Raiders backed up the Bills with that punt, Don, and they took over possession on like the 1-inch line where Parrish received that punt.
Yeah, the nose of the ball was almost touching the goal line. This Raider team, Bruce Smith, a very aggressive, tough group today.
Yes, they are. They're a very talented ball club. Actually, a fellow Hokie is down there by the name of D'Angelo Hall and a couple other guys that I know that plays for the Raiders on the defensive side of the ball. But they're very talented.
The Virginia Tech Hokies, this is a dangerous area now. This is that defense can be coming hard. Second down. A throw.
An interception.
And an interception it is. It's picked off, taken away. Tremendous defensive play as D'Angelo Hall comes up with the ball. And so a third Bills turnover now looms very large, possibly in the outcome of this game. Let's see what the officials are. Still, the other ruling is definitely an interception, a fight for the ball.
Lee Evans is saying that it was a simultaneous catch when they hit the ground. The ball should be the Buffalo Bills possession.
Absolutely.
The officials ruled, though, that Hall came over, rips the ball loose there, but they're both on the ground. The ball should be dead. And it should be Buffalo ball right there.
Vic Giron, he's got the red flag out. He'll go to the truth machine, the tape recorder. And look at this again.
Yeah, you mentioned your Virginia Tech Hokie, and just on cue, D'Angelo Hall makes a great play. Now, whether it'll stand or not, it's another thing. But what do you got, a little ESP happening?
Well, we Hokies, we stick together. But you know, it's interesting about this game. The one thing about this game you learn very quickly, they say the eye in the sky doesn't lie. So we'll find out whose ball it really is.
I'm not even sure they're going to review this one. Let's hear.
Buffalo is challenging the ruling on the field that the receiver caught the ball and was down by contact. We'll review the play.
Wow, this is a critical review. So while they go to the review, we'll take this break and come back to Ralph Wilson Stadium. Instant replay review. We just got a clarification. The ball was placed on the almost on the goal line, because it was from the spot of the holding call against the Bills on the return. That was the 2-yard line, so they moved it back just outside the goal line. And now what's being used is, did D'Angelo Hall come up with an interception here? I see. Oh, that's in the hands of Lee Evans. He hits the ground and then is taken. I think this might be overturned. What do you think, Bruce Smith?
I think you're correct.
Is that because you're a Bill fan, or
because I'm a Bill fan?
Bruce, we're just going up in the Wall of Fame. Steve Task going up last year, the 25th Bill. It's interesting, your career, you came in as the #1 pick in the league, but you weighed about 300, and you really did your best work, probably, what, 265?
I certainly did.
At
Stairmaster.
Man, a lot you'd wear that out.
Yeah.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Raiders keep the ball.
Control of the ball prior to the defender catching it. Oakland retains possession. First down. Buffalo will be charged with their first timeout.
So the review upholds the call on the field, and the Raiders keep the ball.
Now that's two of us that were wrong on that one, Bruce. I thought that a simultaneous catch
Goes to the receiver.
and then down on the field by contact should go to the offense.
I thought it would be overturned.
But Carl Cheffers had a different explanation, and now he's giving it firsthand to Dick Duran.
Now we'll see if the Raiders can get something more than a field goal. That's all they have so far today. They've had some great field position forced by this terrific defense. Well, Lee Evans had the ball and knocked away, and D'Angelo Hall is credited with the interception. 1st and 10. The Bills crowd really kicks in. 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. McFadden down to about the 7-yard line. He got at least 5. See where they spot the ball.
Raiders have had great success running left, and I know, Bruce, that was the side that you played on defensively, the right defensive end. What do you see that the Raiders are doing there? Is it Schobel playing too wide?
Well, I just think that they're overpowering our defensive line right now. They're creating some seams, and the running backs are able to get through there.
2nd and 4, and McFadden's to the goal line. Is he in? No touchdown signal yet, but if he's not in, he's inches away.
You talk about overpowering that left side of the Raider offensive line. Robert Gallery playing left guard, and you've got Mario Henderson, and then you bring the big fullback in there, Justin Griffith. How about that determination by McFadden? That is as close to a touchdown as you could possibly get.
First and goal. Head down, big Jamarcus Russell at 6'6", 260, takes it himself. And the Raiders build a 15-7 lead with the extra point coming up. So this presents a lot of problems, Dan Fouts and Bruce Smith, for the young quarterback of the Bills, Trent Edwards, because he's not been able to sustain drives against this tough Raider defense.
Turnovers have absolutely killed the Bills, haven't they?
Turnovers will lose the ball game quicker than any other play on the line in the ball game.
Here is Janikowski with the extra point, going for his 10th point of the day to go with his 3 field goals. And the Raiders on the road, and probably a major underdog, standing tall and leading 16-7. 7:30 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Buffalo great going up on the Bills Wall of Fame today, and soon probably to go into the Hall of Fame next summer. There's Jamarcus Russell, took it himself, the big guy from LSU. A lot of power at 6'6", 260 pounds. So now the Raiders have built a 16-7 lead. And this Raider team looks like the Raiders of old, like the playoff Raiders, where they're playing defense. Kickoff down to McKelvin through his legs. He's got a big problem. Here come the Raider tacklers. And McKelvin, as they go at, boy, these Raiders are inspired today.
Well, they're rallying around their coach. They're rallying around their teammates. And I think a lot of the talk about the Bills going to the playoffs and all this and that we've talked about, and what a good start the Bills were off to, and the Raiders a little bit disheveled in their first game against the Broncos. Played well last week and are certainly finally taking advantage of the turnovers here and creating things. Al Davis looking on from the end zone. He's got to be happy, doesn't he?
He does. He never shows it, but he's got to be very pleased with the effort of this Raider team. They look terrific on the road, coming 3,000 miles east and holding to a 16-7 lead. Now Trent Edwards has to start throwing the ball. He's going to go to the run here. Marshawn Lynch, a hard-working man, works his blockers and the sideline. Thomas Howard gets him out of bounds on a well-executed run play by the Bills. Edwards, a 9 of 18, Dan, for 93 yards.
He came in completing 70% of his passes, but throwing against the Raiders secondary where they play so much man-to-man, you're not going to throw for a high percentage. You're going to hope to get a couple of big pass plays. The only big one he's had so far was the completion to Evans to start the second half.
First down on the run, ball at the 22-yard line. Again, they go to Lynch. A tough man, big Turdell Sands, a 335-pound defensive tackle. Number 90 was the guy that threw him back. Rob Ryan calling the defenses. Nobody wants to have their lips read in this league.
For many reasons. Not only.
Has anybody ever read anybody's lips from the other team? I mean, they're all hiding it. But
you never know. Up in the box, they're watching TV too sometimes.
2nd and 8. And Edwards gets out of the tackle box. Josh Reed would look like he might be a little open, but Derek Burgess coming hard, a two-time Pro Bowl defensive end. Derek Burgess healthy now. 2 years ago, he had 16 sacks. Last year, he had only 8 because of injuries.
See, this is just good coverage in the secondary. His primary receiver is covered, feels the pressure, has to get out of the pocket. But if it wasn't for that good coverage in the secondary by DeAngelo Hall and Nnamdi Asomugha, Edwards would be having a better day.
Take down here, 3rd down and 8. Edwards lets it go long. Lee Evans is out there. He catches the ball, and he was also fouled by DeAngelo Hall. There's a penalty marker that comes in. Is it against the offense? It is.
I'm not sure that Evans needed to push off. The ball was underthrown. He clearly pushed off on DeAngelo Hall, and he draws the flag.
Pass interference, number 83, offense. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Take a look at the end of this play. Good pass protection this time for Edwards, and he throws a fine ball here. A little bit underthrown, but there's the push with the left hand. And you can see he didn't need to do that because Hall had not looked for the ball. Hall had no idea where the ball was.
And that then negates a 38-yard reception. And so the ball is set at the 14-yard line of the Bills. Raiders leading 16-7.
Mistakes are really piling up on Buffalo now.
Well, they've not covered themselves with glory in a lot of plays today. A lot of mistakes, and the Raiders are forcing those mistakes. Marshawn Lynch kept underneath by the defense, and the Bills will have to punt again from deep in their own end. Jabril Wilson and Stanford Rout combine on the stop.
Yeah, we've got all these players from Stanford and coaches, and we've even got a defensive back, Stanford.
That's right. Stanford Rout's from Houston now, University of Houston. Here is Moorman ready to punt. Johnny Lee Higgins, who opened the game, you may recall, with a 68-yard kickoff return, and the Raiders soon after had a 3-0 lead. Moorman boots the ball into the mist. Higgins from his 38. Set up a return left. And a terrific open field tackle by the Bills stops him. Brian Scott, 43, makes the stop. And the Raiders have the ball and the lead when we come back. Trent Edwards, Bills quarterback, on the sideline. He's been stymied today by this Raider defense, and now the Raiders with a 16-7 lead have Darren McFadden back in as the I-back. Play fake. Jamarcus Russell with the long-range arm, swings it to McFadden. And there's a hard hit put out, helmet to helmet. Keith Ellison was the lead tackler. Wednesday on Showtime, join JB, Phil Simms, Warren Sapp, and Chris Collinsworth for all the best insights, analysis, and highlights from around the league on Inside the NFL.
This looks like Keith Ellison down after that hard hit on Darren McFadden after the short pass. Ellison's not your biggest linebacker, only about 225 pounds, 6 foot tall. Very dependable, though, very steady player.
He put on a hard helmet shot, number 56. Keith Ellison, a third-year linebacker from Oregon State. And caught the knee of McFadden.
And then he got hit by friendly fire as Ryan Denny came over. Number 92 is going to hit him in the helmet. Watch 92 from the backside there. And that bent Ellison's head back.
Raiders, after giving up 41 points in the opening game there at home, have really stood up on defense. Shut down Kansas City. They scored 8 points last week. Bills only 7 today. McFadden, who protects that ball, running hard, and it looks like he does have the first down as he runs it to midfield before Posluszny gets him.
And you notice the Raiders have really kind of changed their running attack when McFadden's in the game. They're not giving him so many plays where he has to make drastic cuts. Just running straight at this Bill defense now, where he can just use his speed and power, bouncing off linebackers there and protecting the ball.
1st and 10 for the Raiders. Bills get a group of tacklers on Michael Bush and take him down at the midfield stripe. Still no gain on that play. 2nd down and 10. Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Good balance here for the Raider running backs. Bush, of course, with a few more yards on a fewer carries, but the two of them really throughout the year will present a great running attack. The lightning quick McFadden with great speed and the power of Michael Bush.
Cutback run, Bills all over it. Aaron Schobel, the lead tackler. Turnovers huge in this game. The Raiders have turned the ball over just once. The Bills have turned it over 3 times.
That was Justin Griffith with that carry. And we got Justin Griffith, who's a just-in-case guy. Just in case McFadden and Bush can't go, and with Justin Fargas out, well, you get the picture, don't you?
Yeah, well, Griffith is also a good pass catcher, as you know, Dan. He's caught 5 already this season. 3rd down. Raiders need 9. Bills play the run well. They go to Michael Bush, so they'll play field position will the Raiders. Posluszny, the lead tackler.
Yeah, they're real happy with the way they're playing defense right now. The Raiders look playing the field position game, not wanting to throw into that too deep defense that the Bills were presenting, going with a very conservative call and bringing out the best punter in the game, Shane Leckler, and a dangerous returner for the Bills, Roscoe Parrish.
Roscoe Parrish, Bills needing good field position. The Raiders have really pinned him back. Great punter, Shane Leckler on the field. End over end punt. Directional punt. Perfectly done. Look at that. Unbelievable. Masterful punting by Shane Leckler. A 44-yard punt, all net yardage, and he pins the Bills back inside their 5-yard line. TV's #1 comment returns with a
remarkable punt by Shane Leckler. It looked like he was trying to kick the ball out of bounds. Watch him point to his left side of the field here. The ball is definitely going to go out of bounds, but he helicoptered the ball end over end, as you said, Don. And look at the bounce he got. That's a 12-yard bounce there inside the 5-yard line. That's why he's the best.
Yep, a master at work. Leckler, 5 punts today, 3 have ended up inside the Bills' 20. From his end zone, Edwards takes time, and he starts to run. Gets out to about the 8-yard line. He got about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Thomas Howard ran him down.
He got up a little gingerly, too, after Howard takes him down with authority. You're not going to run away from Thomas Howard.
Those defenders love to see a quarterback running.
Yeah, I remember.
Open season.
A few times.
2nd and 5 is the official yardage. Nothing happening. Right side of that Raider defense. Boy, they're feeling it, these Raiders.
Fred Wakefield on the stop. No gain on the play, 3rd and 5.
This is turning it around in a hurry. And in talking to Kirk Morrison and to Thomas Howard yesterday, they said that they went to Rob Ryan. They said, Coach, just let us play. Let us be aggressive. We don't want to have to be perfect on every defense. We want to turn it loose, and they have turned it loose the last 2 weeks.
3rd and 5 now. Trent Edwards in the shotgun. Here come the Raiders with a 4-man rush. Edwards in deep trouble. Dumps it off. Marshawn Lynch working his way, fighting his way, and he gets a 1st down to the 15-yard line.
Boy, if this doesn't tell you what this kid's all about, I don't know what will. The big smile after the play. I mean, he catches this ball, he's about 7 or 8 yards away from the down marker. At the 5-yard line, makes 1 miss and picks up 10 yards.
Another of those plays, Dan, where he did it himself. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Raiders 16, the Bills 7. They'll return after this message and a word from your local station. Back to Ralph Wilson Stadium. The precipitation has stopped. On CRIQUI with Dan Fouts. Raiders dig in with that strong defense. Bills are down 16-7. Trent Edwards backpedaling, makes a connection out to about the 19-yard line. All there is, Dan, it seems, it's Robert Royal, the tight end, is underneath stuff against this Raider defense.
Well, they're having no success at all getting the ball outside to their wide receivers. And against that zone coverage that time, that was a smart read by Trent Edwards. Not to force the ball and just get it to his open receiver, his tight end. Take what they give you is what you're told time after time.
Brings up a 2nd down and 5 play. Marshawn Lynch works it out across the 35-yard line out to the 37.
I remember early in the game, Don, when Lynch threw the ball to, caught the ball from Edwards. The ball was thrown too hard and off target a little bit. This time, watch Edwards after the play fake. This ball is going to be put right in the chest of Marshawn Lynch so he can catch the ball without thinking about the guys around him, make a couple of guys miss and pick up a huge 1st down. Better throw that time by Trent Edwards. 16 big yards.
Fred Jackson's now on the field as the I-back. Behind the fullback, Darian Barnes. Fred Jackson, he gets plus yards, works it out to the 40-yard line. Strange things are happening in Foxborough. Back to James Brown.
Don, for sure, I don't know if Dan could ever think back to this happening because it hasn't. Ronnie Brown, 3rd direct snap, Dan Fouts, and guess what he does? He takes it 62 yards of pay dirt, 4 rushing touchdowns, 1 tossing on the day. No Dolphins player ever has rushed for 4 touchdowns in a game. 35-13 over New England. Don and Dan.
Thank you, James. Well, that old adage about this league on any given Sunday.
Yeah, a couple of heavily favored teams going down.
Tip ball. Ball was partially tipped at the line. Fred Jackson was the target. Penalty marker comes in after the play. The Raiders think it's against the Bills again for pushing off.
They're going to call pass interference. He's going to be waved off because the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Pass interference, number 53, defense, automatic 1st down.
That ball was tipped. That's a bad call by the officials. They got to talk about this one. That ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Fred Wakefield, number 78.
There's the hole before he threw. Well, that wasn't much of a hole.
That ball is clearly deflected. That's a deflected. That could be no. They actually made the ball a better spiral.
Yeah.
After it hit Wakefield's hat.
The helmet shot. Well, the ball is advanced now to midfield. Raiders leading 16-7. Fourth quarter, 12:43 to play in it. Lynch and Jackson are in the backfield, and now Trent Edwards wants to be sure of the play call.
Well, and
maybe they're going to review this.
Lane Kiffin wants to talk to the officials about this. He knows that that ball was deflected by Wakefield's helmet. Therefore, there should be no pass interference.
Tip ball is reviewable. Well, apparently the play is going to hold, and Edwards is quickly back out to the huddle.
And this is a good drive for Buffalo coming out of the deep end of their own field. Edwards with a hot hand. He's hit his last 4 straight.
Now the red flag is out from the Raider sideline, so they want to review.
That's a good play by the Raider sideline.
Absolutely it is.
Oakland is challenging that the ball was tipped prior to the defensive pass interference. We'll review the play. Timeout.
I can't believe that the official.
Did the ball get deflected?
Now Fred Wakefield is 6'7", number 78 here. It appears right there. It glances off the top of his helmet. Changes direction. Actually made the ball a tighter spiral. See, you can see a little bump there. I think the officials now are trying to figure out what down it was, where the ball should be placed, because this is a good challenge by the Raiders, and shall I say a heads-up play by Fred Wakefield.
Yes, it was. It was indeed. Here's.
After review, the ball did hit the player of the defender's helmet. Therefore, there's no pass interference.
Very good.
On the play.
That's right there, Yardman.
It's simply an incomplete pass.
Incomplete
It'll be
pass.
3rd down and 7 for Buffalo. Oakland is not charged with a timeout.
If Fred Wakefield was only 6'6", it wouldn't have happened.
And if he was still playing offense, it wouldn't have happened. Very versatile player. Offensive tackle and a defensive tackle. Used his head that one.
Now they're going to move the ball back. Position the ball across the Bills' 35-yard line out to the 40. They have it a 3rd down and 6 where it's positioned. So big down for the Bills, and this Raider defense has been so tough to convert on.
You take away yardage and you take away the 1st down with that reversal.
Bills 2 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. The Raiders, believe it or not, only 1 for 10 on 3rd down conversions. Trent Edwards needs 6. Stands in. Makes the connection. 1st down. Josh Reed, a 7-year veteran from LSU. Out, makes the play. Von Branch gets him down, but there is a gain of 7 on a 3rd and 6, and the Bills keep their drive alive.
And talking to Turk Schoenert, the offensive coordinator, about number 82, calls him cagey, working across the middle there. And that's really a skill that very few receivers have. Wes Welker comes to mind as this ball hits the ground. Ground cannot cause the fumble. Big play by number 82.
Brett Jackson is the eye back. Over combo runners, Jackson and Lynch. Edwards, open receiver, and Lee Evans comes back at the ball and makes the play at the 37-yard line. A gain of 16 yards and a penalty marker down in the Bills' backfield. Were they holding? They were.
10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
It's one way to keep him off your quarterback, but it doesn't help.
And his quarterback's got a hot hand, too. Remember, he completed 10 in a row last week to start the game against Jacksonville. See the holding on Derek Dockery, number 66, on Tommy Kelly. Pretty easy call to make there. But Edwards can get hot. He seems to have finally gotten into a bit of a rhythm.
First down and 20. Too much on it. Hard throw off the hands of Derek Schumann, a tight end, who with a check down to the tight end. The pressure has been nonstop from this Raider defense.
Yeah, it's surprising that the Bills haven't thrown any screen passes today with a running back combination of Fred Jackson and Marshawn Lynch, both good receivers out of the backfield. Jackson had a huge day last week against Jacksonville on screen passes and short passes. It would be something that would slow down this Raider pass rush for sure.
Second down and 20. Good fake, swing pass. This is Royal, the tight end, and he's out inside the 45-yard line of the Raiders. Kirk Morrison upends him, but a big gain, a 17-yard gain.
Kind of an inside bootleg for Buffalo. After the shotgun, the fake to Jackson, and look at Royal coming out with the quarterback. And a beautiful throw by Edwards, got it to him quickly so the big man can rumble.
He does indeed rumble, big Robert Royal from LSU. We're going to the tight ends more this year under the Turk Schonert offense.
Play clock running down now, and Edwards is going to have to call a timeout. They had trouble getting the play squared away for the young quarterback.
We're back to Western New York. Ralph Wilson Stadium sold out. Bills fans seeing their team up against a really inspired Raider team. Now the Bills with their best drive of this game, really, Dan.
Well, they started on their 4-yard line, 10 plays to this point, but talk about a huge play, 3rd and 2.
And a long 2 at that. They've got to advance it to the 42-yard line of the Raiders. Edwards looks, fires, gets an open man. Roscoe perishes down to the 33-yard line. 11-yard gain, and all of a sudden Trent Edwards is looking laser sharp throwing the ball.
Watch the quickness of Roscoe Parrish, number 11. Good coverage by Hall, but it's those short little quick steps by Parrish that gave him that room to catch that pass. Nice bullet from Trent Edwards.
Bills are down by 2 scores. They've had problems with turnovers. They turned it over 3 times. The Raiders just once. Another throw. Evans running an out pattern.
Now it's an all-out blitz by the Raiders. Edwards saw it. He's going to his hot receiver, but that's that miscommunication. Evans thinking he was supposed to run a quick out. Edwards threw him a slant route.
How do you identify the hot receiver?
Well, if you're outnumbered on the blitz side of that receiver, that becomes the guy that's responsible to make this side adjustment. He's the hot guy.
Second down and 10. Edwards, open man. This is Josh Reed, and he's down inside the 15-yard line. First down as he gets ahead for a gain of 18 yards, and Edwards now looking as good as advertised.
And D'Angelo Hall a little slow getting up after missing this tackle, playing way off. Man-to-man coverage, but off. That's the difference between Hall and Nnamdi Asomugha. Asomugha with that size, 6'2", 210, he likes to get right up in the face of the receiver, play bump and run, but Hall prefers to play off. That time he got burned.
Bills got a touchdown on a 14-yard run by Marshawn Lynch, and they briefly took the lead in this game 7-6 when they did in the first half.
This is finally the Buffalo offense we were expecting to see.
This is the 13th play of the drive. Another blitzers are coming. It looks like they're up to the run to Lynch. Brings some tacklers with him. Thomas Howard got him first, but he does get plus yards down to close to the 11-yard line. He's 2nd and 6.
You can just see the maturity level rise for Trent Edwards. I'm talking to Dick Duran, he says when you first meet the guy, you just sense his presence and his confidence. He's not cocky, he's confident, he's intelligent, and he carries himself well, which you have to do under pressure situations such as this one.
He grew up watching the Raiders from Los Gatos, California. Here is Edwards looking, firing. It's caught inside the 5-yard line. Josh Reed makes the big play.
And he's getting the ball to his wide receivers, all against the left corner of the Raiders.
He's playing that corners off, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing so far off. That's too far for Rashad Baker there.
That's a good point, Dan. You're talking about Asamoah. He plays up, but D'Angelo Hall's playing corners off on that side.
This drive started on the 4-yard line of Buffalo. Now to the 3 of Oakland.
First and goal. Marshawn Lynch in the backfield gets the ball. Boy, the whole offense went into the end zone.
Now we got a flag thrown after the touchdown. You're right, Don. That was a flying wedge, wasn't it? That goes back to your Notre Dame days.
Right. We ran that regularly.
I know what part of the wedge you were, too.
Newt Rockne loved that play. If it's against the Raiders, it'll come after the extra point on the kickoff, and the Raiders will have the long field. Time becoming a factor, though. The Raiders have moved the clock nicely. There's 7:59 left to play.
After the score, unnecessary roughness, number 28 of the defense. That player has been ejected. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Jabril Wilson out, gone. Personal foul and an ejection.
I'll tell you, that's very unlike him.
Look at this flying wedge here. He just lowers his head, and everybody just says push.
Rugby scrum, and heads into the end zone. So now the extra point.
You can see Wilson was punching a Bill with an open fist, slapping, and that got him the ejection and the long walk to the locker room.
Janikowski, the Raiders kicker, has hit everything he's been asked to make. 3 field goals and the extra point, and now Ryan Lindell to try the point after. He, of course, missed a field goal. Bills would be taking the lead now had he made it. Raiders still will have at worst a 2-point lead and the ball with 7:59 to play. Lindell continues his long streak, over 250 extra points without a miss as a pro. So it's tightened up again. The Raiders get the ball when we come back. Trent Edwards of the Bills just engineered a 96-yard drive.
Took 8:55 off the clock. Bills were 3 for 3 on 3rd down, and remember they had 1 3rd down conversion taken away from them because of the pass interference. That was not pass interference when it hit the helmet of Fred Wakefield. So great drive led by the young quarterback Trent Edwards. So now the pressure goes on the other young quarterback's shoulders, Jamarcus Russell. We'll see what he can do, protecting a small lead.
Yeah, just a 2-point lead, but Russell and the Raiders are holding to a 2-point advantage, 16-14, still 7:59 to play. Spinning kick, Johnny Lee Higgins. Down at the 16-yard line, so the Bills now got an injection of go and toward that touchdown. A power touchdown if there ever was one. Everybody goes into the end zone. Bills fans are rocking here in Buffalo, but the Raiders have the lead, 2 points and the ball. 7:53 to play. McFadden bounces outside, and the Bills are all over it. Result, about a 1-yard gain. Jabari Greer was the guy who caught him when it looked like McFadden might break a big one, which he can do.
Great job of Greer staying at home on the outside, because at that point there, if he's not coming up to make that tackle, McFadden's got a lot of room to run down that left side.
Now Michael Bush is the I-back for the Raiders on 2nd and 9. Michael Bush, he's shut down.
You know, very predictable offense for the Raiders with the young quarterback and this crowd back into it. Look at that. One pass thrown in the second half. And here we've got just under 7 minutes to go in the ball game. You might think they're playing not to lose, but they do have the lead, and their defense has played well, except for that last 96-yard drive of Buffalo.
You never win a set of downs without throwing a pass. Here's Jamarcus Russell. He needs over 9. Takes a look, fires, and it's caught. What a great play by the Raiders. Johnny Lee Higgins is gone. And a penalty after the play. So the second pass he's thrown this half is the game winner. It would appear an 84-yard touchdown play.
And he showed his strength. This is why the Raiders drafted him, because of his natural talent. Dante Whitner's going to get the flag for the tackle on Higgins 10 yards deep in the end zone. But it's a slant route that Jamarcus Russell fit into the smallest of places. And Higgins, with his great speed, did the rest.
James Lofton, the Raiders receiver coach, congratulating Johnny Lee Higgins, who's had some big moments today. The opening kickoff of 68 yards returned by Higgins resulted soon after in the first score of the game, a field goal.
Play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, unnecessary roughness, number 20 on the defense. Those fouls offset, touchdown.
The first foul against the Raiders was for taunting. The second call there against Whitner for the late tackle.
So the Raiders, when they needed it most, break the big play. Only the second pass thrown this half by their quarterback. And look what he does with it. A 61-yard touchdown pass play. Now Janikowski, who's been automatic today, kicking 3 field goals. And another extra point, and the Raiders extend to another 8-point lead, and now just 6:23 left to play.
Now, watch from the right side of the screen. Here comes Higgins. And look at that little window there in front of Pozlosny. I mean, that had to go right underneath the arm of the linebacker to Higgins.
Well, how did Higgins taunt anybody? He just slowed down running. You have to run fast?
Don't ask me. I've never understood the taunting rule. I know sometimes it looks bad, but sometimes it's all in good fun. I mean, maybe here's the taunting. I'm not sure. That's just celebration.
That's I don't think the Raiders did anything wrong. They certainly didn't do anything wrong in his pass play.
I mean, that ball could not have been handed to Higgins any better than it was thrown to Higgins. Mr. Higgins.
Now the ball will be kicked off from the 30, offsetting penalties. Look at the kick returns by Johnny Lee Higgins today. And he's right in there again to cover the kick.
Now he had that 68-yarder against Denver. He had a 58-yard kickoff return. Against Kansas City, a 42-yard kickoff return. And now this huge pass reception for a touchdown. He may be the guy the Raiders need to stretch the defenses, something that Lane Kiffin said his offense desperately needed, a big play from their wide receivers. They got it.
Officially, Dan, an 84-yard touchdown play. Leotis McKelvin gets it out across the 30 in the first 53 minutes. Russell passed for 72 yards, and then that last pass surpassed that. Coming up next, the Steelers battle the Eagles. The Jaguars meet the Colts, and the Browns needs to hit the big ball.
Trouble is, you're down by 9. That's 2 scores. The key here, though, is just go down, get into field goal range, and get the field goal first. Worry about the touchdown later. Save time.
Edwards lets the long ball go. Roscoe Parrish is out of bounds. This is the ball. Incomplete pass. Stanford route. 26 was covering on the play.
Out is the nickel back for the Oakland Raiders.
Dick Duran, his team, he's really had a plays at how together his team has been, how they've made the big plays. And now they need big plays against a Raider defense that has been unrelenting, super tough. 2nd and 10. Edwards heading for the 12th man, and he gets out of bounds. These linebackers are coming with malice in their hearts. Look at these. It's a good day to be on the road. I would never have thought that. The Bengals leading the Giants in the 4th quarter.
Road dogs.
At the start of the day, 10 NFL teams were 2-0, 5 in the AFC, the Bills being one of them. Raiders came in 1-1. This is a 3rd and 6 play. High 43 to play and the clock running. Another throw and a catch. Josh Reed, who's really come alive, making a lot of plays. Former 2nd-round draft choice in LSU. He gets a 22-yard gainer.
Yeah, he had 3 catches in the last drive, and plus he drew the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Jabril Wilson. That was a huge 3rd down conversion, something the Bills did a lot of the last time they had the ball.
Edwards again, another timing throw. This time it's off the hands of James Hardy, the big rookie from Indiana on the field. Guy caught a touchdown pass last week, a big target.
And he should have caught this one. He had his hands backwards, though, and took his eye off the ball as Michael Huff, Angelo Hall in the neighborhood. Remember, Wilson's been ejected, so the Raiders are down defensive backs. Tyvon Branch, who picked off a pass last week against Kansas City, is in the game, as is Rashad Baker.
And the Bills, with only 1 timeout remaining, down by 9. Edwards looks. Terrific throw. Coming back at the ball was Lee Evans.
You hear that ball pop against the shoulder pads of Lee Evans. That shows you the velocity that Edwards had on that 13-yard completion.
The clock running, though. It's working with the Raiders at this point as they hold to a 23-14 lead. They led at the half 9-7. Blown out in their home opener on opening night in Oakland. They've come back to play great football the last 2 weeks. Now the Bills trying to get back in it. Throwing a catch down to the 14-yard line. A 16-yard gain.
Yeah, he can't just give Edwards this much time to throw. Nobody around him can step up and find the receiver over the middle. Another strike from Trent Edwards.
And the clock runs.
And now the Raiders appear to have called timeout, Don.
Yep. "18 new castaways marooned in exotic Africa."
You get the field goal first or go for the touchdown?
Well, you were out there for 15 years. You'd go for the field goal, huh?
No, yeah, I like the way Edwards is playing, though, Don, and I think he's hot. So I would keep going. Keep going with the hot hand.
Yeah, the touchdown's the hardest thing to get. So they're moving the ball again. They had a 96-yard drive on a previous possession, ending in a touchdown. Edwards is really hot. Now 21 of 36. Another throw. Roscoe Parrish. He's in. Touchdown, Bills.
That's as good a throw as a quarterback can make. About to get hit in the face, puts it right on the 1-1 of Roscoe Parrish. He steps into the corner of the end zone, and we've got ourselves a finish coming up. What a throw by Trent Edwards. But he's hot. He's had time to throw. And even if you got time to throw, the pressure's coming as it was on that play. You don't feel it as much. You say just want to get rid of that ball. Great route by Parrish. Got separation. Got in for the score easily.
Ryan Lindell with a point after. Snap and set down are good, and again the Raiders lead is cut to 2. Of course, the Bills under defensive coordinator Perry Fewell are going to be very wary of that seam route that split them for an 84-yard touchdown the last time the Raiders had the ball.
Now Turdell Sands just kissed Edwards right in the face a little bit too late. This ball is out quickly on target, touchdown. And since the interception that was a controversial one earlier in this half. Look at that shot. Sands goes 335, and Edwards is going to feel that for about 6 weeks. But since that first interception in the second half, or his only interception, Edwards has hit 13 of 18 for 193 and that touchdown, and he's engineered a couple of very impressive drives.
Trent Edwards always takes his seat on the bench next to
Edwards going up and down the sidelines, congratulating, and also telling the guys, hey, believe it, we get it back, we're going to score again. That's the mindset, that's the attitude of a maturing Trent Edwards.
But the Raiders have big play people, not the least of whom is Johnny Lee Higgins. Waiting the kickoff, a booming kickoff. And he's going to down the ball at his leisure, but it is a touchback, and so the Raiders, with a 2-point lead, will start from their 20. No time elapsed on the kickoff. 4:03 left to play.
And a great kickoff, because when Higgins got the ball, he was backing up. If he could catch the ball moving forward, he might have brought it out and given us a thrill again. But the kickoff by Lindell forced him to back up to make the catch. Therefore, he had to down it.
The Bills only have one timeout left when they do get the ball back, if they do get the ball back.
I remember the last time the Raiders had the ball, similar situation. They ran it on first down, ran it on second down, didn't get much, and then lightning from the right arm of Jamarcus Russell to Higgins for that bomb put him in the end zone. It'll be interesting to see what type of plays that Lane Kiffin gives his young quarterback with 4:03 to go.
Well, with the lead, you'd think it might be conservative, because a turnover in this area could set the Bills up to win it with a field goal. Michael Bush is the running back. He gets the ball and gets nothing.
Oh, that was a dangerous handoff, because Russell was tripped coming away from center, almost stumbled.
Yeah, he did well just to get the ball in his hands.
It's his foot stepped on by his center, Jake Grove. And a heck of a play by Kyle Williams, getting penetration, no gain.
What a game. Raiders working at their leisure, taking as much time as they can. 2nd and 10 comes up for the Raiders. Nothing again. But the Raiders will continue to take time off the clock. Marcus Stroud, the big run stuffer, stops Michael Bush. And here we have a 3rd and 12, Dan. We remember what happened a little bit earlier on a long yardage play.
And I'm sure the Bills do too. They're going to be looking for Higgins. Actually, Higgins is going to come out of the game. The Raiders are going to stay conservative, at least with their personnel. They leave the fullback Griffith in the ball game.
And the clock ticks on. Third down, Raiders need 12 to keep it going. Jamarcus Russell takes a look, long ball. Coverage is there, it's an incomplete pass, and they'll have to punt with 2:41 left to play.
And the key there, the clock stops in the incomplete pass, and the Bills still have one timeout to work with when they get the ball back. I thought that was a misread.
Shane Leckler, the all-pro punter, standing at his 4-yard line. Perfect snap, booming punt. Roscoe Parrish, ever dangerous, will run it back. Good coverage by the Raiders. Sam Williams, the lead tackler, a 58-yard punt by Leckler, an 8-yard return. Trent Edwards sets in the shotgun. He has hit 22 of 37 for 252. Connection out to the 45-yard line.
And they should hustle the line of scrimmage and not wait till the 2-minute warning. They can get an extra play off, and they'll get to stop the clock in extra time.
That was Josh Reed again, Dan, as he now has caught 6 passes for 72 yards.
Working his magic over the middle.
This will take us to the 2-minute warning. Another throw and a catch. The elusive one, Roscoe Parrish, sneaks inside the 40, a gain of 16 yards. Stadium. The Buffalo Bills trying to fight from behind. The Raiders have led virtually the whole. The Bills did have a 7-6 lead at one point. Now the Bills with 1:58 to play, down by 2 at the 39-yard line of the Raiders. Are they going to send an all-out blitz and try to get to Edwards? They go to the run, and Marshawn Lynch fighting for yards. He is a tough man.
Yeah, now they've got Lindell within the 50-yard range.
Still got 1:46 to play, and the clock running.
And you got to give credit to this offensive line right now. Their size and power has worn down this speed and quickness of the Raider defensive line. And also philosophically, the Raiders have changed their defense. They're playing soft zone coverages. Edwards has hit 15 of his last 20, including his last 5 in a row.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. He now has hit 24 of 39 for 279, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Hand off, and here is Marshawn Lynch working the sideline inside the 25-yard line. They'll spout him out of bounds. It appears to be just inside the 25, a gain of 7, and now they're clearly in field goal range.
Well, here comes the blitz now, and it doesn't get to Lynch as he rips away from Tommy Kelly and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. So it's almost like the Bills, Dick Geron and his offensive coordinator, Turk Schoenert, are out guessing Rob Ryan.
Well, the Bills haven't been to the playoffs in 9 years. The Raiders haven't been there in 5. A critical early season game. The Bills haven't started 3-0 in 16 years. Lynch, both arms on the ball to the 19-yard line.
And now you start thinking about using the clock. You're in field goal range. You've got a timeout in your pocket to kick the field goal. You don't need to hurry now. The clock is your enemy.
Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining, but they're not using them.
Yeah, I would be using them.
2 timeouts for the Raiders, but this is not going to have any time to work with it. The Bills work it all the way down. 28 seconds to play. Right back to the conservative run game. Right back to Lynch. He's thrown down at about the 20-yard line. It would be a 37-yard field goal from here. And it's going to, the Raiders are not going to take a timeout. It's going to go down to the 15-yard line.
And Edwards will take it all the way down inside of 10. Now he'll move it all the way probably down to 3 or 4 seconds.
Spot is at the 20. 37-yard field goal in this league. That usually is a very high percentage shot, but we'll see what the Raiders have made some spectacular defensive plays today. Look at that. He made 41 consecutive inside 40.
That's called your comfort zone, huh?
But he did miss today from, what was it, 46?
46 going in the other direction. The ball did not hook. It stayed out right. Missed it by about 2 feet. Take a look at it. From the right hash, the ball just stayed out there. This one will be from the left hash. I'm sure that Lindell went to the coaching staff, Bobby April, and said, hey, put me on the left hash. Most kickers would prefer the left hash if they're a right-footed kicker because they can aim at that right post and draw the ball in more easily.
Interesting. Well, it's critically important. This will be officially a 38-yard field goal for Ryan Lindell. His punter, Ryan Moorman, is the holder. And the game hinges on this play as the Raiders are sending everybody. Snap, set down are good. And so is the kick, and time is out. And the Bills have come back to beat the Raiders in a phenomenal football game. A tremendous effort by both teams. What a comeback.
2 weeks in a row, the Bills have come from behind. Last week on the road against Jacksonville when they scored 10 points in the last 4 minutes. There's that aim to the right post, the hook to the middle of the uprights.
On the way in good, the executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Sean McManus, vice president of production of CBS Sports, Harold Bryan. Produced today by Ken Mack, directed by Chris Venson, associate director Joel Felkart. And there is Kiffin. What a heartbreaker for this young coach. His team played in here and played their hearts out. And the Bills found a way behind their brilliant second-year quarterback from Stanford, Trent Edwards. And their great runner from Cal, Marshawn Lynch, he had 83 yards. And that is it. The Bills win it on that late field goal. Coming up next is game 2 of our doubleheader. For Dan Fouts, this is Don CRIQUI. You've been